I am Slick Nick, the living legend of hair loss, your personal hairline hero, and of course, the red pill pusher of hair loss. Speaking of red pill mentality, you all know, as this is being filmed, I have COVID. This is day number 4 of me having the symptoms, and day number 4 of me having it certified with the doctor. I definitely have COVID. But it's a matter of, here's the light you've been given. Okay, find a way to survive despite that. Make use with what you've got and still find a way to succeed. That's red pill mentality. Look for other options. Don't look at how other people can't succeed because they've been limited in life. No. Maybe I've been limited in life in certain ways. I'll find a way to overcome. I will find a way. So let's check out this comment here that came in, which I love. I endorse this comment from Jonas Johnson. I made a video recently called "When You're Truly Going Bald, You Have to Focus Even More" on my red pill list of 10 things. So our friend Jonas had this to say, quote, "What matters is your character, not your appearance. I'm 20 and it seems that I already have a receding hairline. So what? I know who I am and what I'm worth." End quote. So again, my praise goes to Jonas. I'm always looking for people who are mature enough to be able to accept the red pill that I'm handing them. And so this is what I said to Jonas, quote, "You are focusing on serving others more than yourself. That is a major sign of maturity, unlike many of my other viewers," which it is true. Do you know how many comments I get a day from people saying, "I'm only 15, my dad's bald, and there's hair in the shower and there's hair on my pillow. Am I going bald?" But yet they refuse to simply watch the video in the description, which would tell them if they're going bald. But the thing is, they can't handle the truth. If I were to tell them, yes, you will be bald by age 35 or 25 or whatever it is, they wouldn't be able to process that. They wouldn't be able to accept that it's really about those 10 things. And it's interesting because I keep saying about these 10 things, they're really about serving other people and helping other people. And a lot of people in their immaturity and youth cannot accept that. One of the songs I've covered here on this channel by Cat Stevens, Father and Son. One of the lines in that song is, "You were young, that's your fault." So take it from someone who's 39, old enough to be your dad. I'm telling you that if only you could get over yourself, if only you could stop being so self-centered. It's funny because last night, with me having COVID, I also have insomnia right now. I was up for 2.5 hours in the middle of the night. So I was watching some videos. I watched one, by default, my favorite character on The Office, which I've seen every episode at least 3 times, is by default Andy of all people. I mean, yes, he's obnoxious and annoying, but from the very first time he showed up in season 3, he was a very interesting character to me. He is like a more chaotic version of Michael Scott in many ways, because he constantly, despite being a grown man in his 30s when the show starts, he constantly needs confirmation of who he is. He needs other people to tell him that he matters, that he's important. And that in itself is quite ironic, because as you mature as a man, you don't need other people to tell you that you're important and that you matter, because you figure out what you're good at and you know what you're bad at, and you don't focus on what you can't control, but instead on what you can. So I was watching this character study of Andy, and one of the things that they said in that video, which I say regularly, is that if you are insecure, you're ultimately self-centered. That sounds like a double whammy, but let me say it again. If you're insecure in your physical appearance specifically, you're self-centered. That's how it works. It's interesting because if we think of someone who's arrogant, we think of someone, all they care about is themselves. They're really focused on themselves. Okay, well, what's interesting is we can look at that from the opposite perspective. What if someone is very insecure and they're thinking, I'm not tall enough, I don't have enough hair, I'm not good enough in this way, I don't have the right facial structure, and they make all these reasons why they're not good enough for other people. Well, that's also being very self-centered. It's just a different side of the spectrum there. So what I'm telling you as a grown man, to many of you being young men, or maybe even younger than being a young man, is that ultimately, if you're insecure and you're basing it on your looks especially, it means you're self-centered. And what's the solution to that? The solution is to focus on other people. So I am going to go over that list of the 10 things. But before I do, I want to share this with you. I'm currently reading through Mark in the Bible right now. And just a couple of days ago, this was what I read. So this is the Jewish leaders trying to basically kind of trap Jesus. So let me read this. This is Mark 12, starting at verse 28. One of the scribes came and heard them arguing, and recognizing that he had answered them very well, asked Jesus, "What commandment is the foremost of all?" Jesus answered, "The foremost is, 'Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, and you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your mind, and with all your strength. The second is this: you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no other commandment greater than these." So it goes on, and you can read more about that if you wish. But ultimately, that's what it comes down to. When you look at what Christianity is ultimately based on, it's based on serving others. That's what makes Jesus so remarkable and so attractive. And arguably the most famous man who ever lived. I'd have to say that. It's interesting because even when you look at religion as a whole, Christianity is the most popular religion of the entire world. Jesus is famous. And how did he get to his fame? Well, one of the ways is he openly acknowledged the importance of serving other people. It also talks about in the Bible when back in those days they wore sandals instead of wearing cool North Face boots from Marshall's that they got for $60. They were really originally 160. But they wore sandals and their feet were nasty, and they would, the servants would wash people's feet when they came in, as guests to the house. And Peter had a problem with Jesus washing his feet. He said, "You can't do this. How can you do this for me? I don't deserve it." That is the whole concept of what Jesus was about, serving other people. Now, ultimately, when we look at Christianity, the most popular religion in the world, we see that if we're doing this thing right, we're more focused on other people. Or at worst, we are loving people as much as we love ourselves. So what are we spending our time and energy on and our emotions on? Making ourselves better? To some degree, we need to make ourselves better. We need to work out the psychology and make sure that mentally we're healthy. But serving others. So I'm closing this video with just putting this on the screen again. And we're going to look at these real quick and just knowing that if you focus on these things, the things you can control, people are naturally going to be more attracted to you because you're serving them instead of serving yourself and your own insecurities. The more you focus on these, the more confident you become, which actually is the true solution. More hair is not the solution. Becoming a better version of you that you can serve others, that is the solution. So here they are. Number one is that you're confident. Well, Nick, I'm not confident. I'm insecure. Okay, well, start being confident. Start believing in yourself, if nothing else, by doing these 10 things. Because most people can't tell the difference. In fact, no one can tell the real difference between real confidence and fake confidence. If you act like you believe in yourself and what you're doing, especially when you're serving others, people are going to assume that you really are confident. Number two, respects women and helps his fellow man, which is obviously what I'm trying to do here, trying to help other people that are much younger than me. Number three, I mentioned this earlier in the video, finds identity in his unique skill set. He's aware of what he's good at, and he knows what he's bad at. He doesn't dwell on his shortcomings. It's fun right now. We got 2 new chairs that got delivered to our house, and I'm very bad at any kind of spatial engineering, math, science. So I unboxed them, and my wife says, "You know what? I'll get around to these later." So she is going to be putting the legs on our new chairs because she knows that I'm going to mess it up, and I probably will. Like, I'm really good at a certain number of things, a few things. I'm really bad at a lot of other things, and I recognize that, and I can laugh about it. Focus on what you are good at and improve those. What you're bad at, laugh about it. Number 4, healthy and active, being fit. You can take care of your body. It is a temple. You get to determine what kind of food you eat. You get to determine whether you go outside and get some exercise or whether you go to the gym. You get to take care of your own body. You get to make those decisions. And by taking care of your own body, again, physically, you can serve others as needed. Maybe not putting on the chairs, the legs of the chair, but I was able to unbox those and move the boxes out there. So number 5 is being decisive. People are constantly looking for someone who is willing to make decisions. Andy Bernard, I mentioned on The Office, is the epitome of someone who's completely indecisive, and that's the comedy and the tragedy of that character. People are looking for someone who's decisive. And similar, number 6, committed. I've been married 12 years. That in itself is a commitment. I worked at the same job for 12 years until they went under. I stick around. I stay committed to things, and people find that attractive. Next, being a leader. My definition of a leader is knowing how to manage and motivate other people. You're not going to always have the answers, but find an answer that works for right now, and people respond to that. Number 8, good communicator. My definition of that is you're able to make complicated concepts seem simple, whereas a poor communicator would take something simple and make it seem complicated. Number 9, funny. Believe it or not, I'm actually pretty funny. And even when I start out my videos with silly things like, I'm Slick Nick, living legend of hair loss, and I say it with a straight face, that's funny. A lot of people don't recognize that, but that shows their lack of humor if they don't recognize what humor is. Lastly, being emotionally intelligent. You don't wear your heart on your sleeve, nor do you keep all your feelings bottled up. You recognize there's a time and a place for emotions, and usually it's not based on other people hurting your feelings or disrespecting you. If anything, those emotions come out in serving other people and having empathy for them. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, hit the like thing, and that'll help this video show up in more people's news feeds. Thanks for watching. Comments right here.